Welcome to the new and experienced investor podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Alex Barnett. This is your other host.
Joe Holmes here.
That's right. This is a real estate investing podcast. If you're watching on video, you probably can tell. But if you're only listening, then you might not be able to tell. I'm the new investor, and this is the experienced investor.
So what you're saying is you're calling me old.
No, whoa. No. I'm just saying you're experienced. That's all. So before we dive in on why we made this podcast and kind of what you can expect from the upcoming episodes, I just want to share with everyone sort of our backgrounds and how we met. So why don't you kind of lead the way and go into your background in real estate?
Okay, yeah, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I've been a real estate investor for over 43 years. I really got started. My dad kind of brought me into the business. I was still in high school. He was purchasing properties, buy and hold back then. He would drag me on the weekends to go paint the place or put flooring in or whatever it was that needed to be done. I look back now and honestly, my dad and I got along really, really well. And so I didn't mind it, even though I was in high school. And it's like, I like to kind of party with my friends or whatever. But I was with my dad during the weekend. I guess it kept me out of trouble. So anyway, he taught me basically everything that I know. He's a very talented person. He's very hands-on. He was great at teaching. What to do, how to do it, and there's nothing that we couldn't tackle together. So I started out there, I graduated from high school, and a few years later, during college, I decided, maybe I ought to get into this game. And back then, really the only way to educate yourself was to get a real estate license. This was after I purchased my first investment property, which was at 22. And believe it or not, I still own that property today. And obviously it's paid off at this time. I didn't pay it off. My tenants paid it off. But being a landlord back then meant, okay, how do I get educated on this stuff? And really the only way was to get my real estate license. Once I got my real estate license, it just changed the world for me. I can do all this stuff. It's like, yeah, you can do all this stuff, especially now that you have a license. So I started buying fixers. I started buying more buy and holds. Let me give you a little bit of perspective. The property that I purchased was $50,000 back then, 40 years ago. It's probably around $500,000 now. And it's just a small 2-bedroom condo here in Orange County, but that's how the market has changed along the way. I've been through 3 up and down cycles, so we got to a point where it just didn't make sense to buy properties to hold on to it here in California. So then we moved into flipping properties at that point in time, and then the market took a downturn. The first downturn, remember I bought it for 50. It went down to 50. Again, even though it was up to like 200,000. That was the first downturn. And I'm a little depressed. I'm feeling high when it was at 200, but then it dropped down to 50. But that's the way it is. I didn't have a problem because it was rented out and I was making cash flow on it, so I'm good. The next downturn or upturn, we went up, and the property was worth around 250 at the time. And then here we are again, the downturn. But this time I was really lucky because it only went down to 100,000. And so I was going, okay, well, I've doubled my money. We're in a bad market, and I'm still doing good. So during the entire process, I'm buying, I'm selling. When it gets down to the bottom, I'm buying more. Again, as it goes back up to the point where it doesn't cash flow, I'm flipping properties at that point in time. Crazy times. We were literally going to auctions. An investor friend and myself were going to auctions and buying properties at the auctions, which is what they were doing the previous downturn before this one. And then 2008 comes, and it's like, whoa, this is a really bad one. So again, the property values were up at 500,000 for the 2 bedroom, 1 bath condo that I have, and it dropped down to $100,000 again. And I'm thinking, okay, well, I've gone through two of these cycles before. Um, what should I do? And I go, well, I kind of like to look in the mirror and always ask my questions. Is like, what would you do? And the mirror responded, well, Joe, why don't you go out and buy 10 more? So what I did, I bought 10 more properties. We're back up to the values of those condos at 500,000. So here in California, you have to kind of be careful on when you buy properties. If you can buy a property that cash flows, which is very rare, buy it every day of the week. But if not, then you're going to have to wait for the downturns to come. And then that's when you start buying properties that cash flow and you hold on to them for the rest of your life, basically. Again, I was 20. So, I'm in my 60s now. I won't tell you exactly, but anyways, I'm in my 60s. So, 40 years does wonders for, people that are paying off properties, your tenants, and, you're living the dream all the way through. So I'm doing this, and I also hold a meetup group every month here locally in Orange County, and I believe that's where Alex and I met. Is that correct?
Yes. This was during COVID, so you were doing them online.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
okay,
Zoom
yeah,
meetups.
Zoom meetings,
Interesting.
and
Yeah.
Alex said that he was a wholesaler.
No, I said I was interested in flipping, or
Okay,
actually, I was just sitting there, and you called me out, and you said, why are you here? And I said, well, I'm interested in flipping, and I have no idea what I'm doing or where to even start. And you said, come on down to the office, and I'll show you how to flip. And I was like, oh,
well, why did I
okay.
call you out? Do you remember that? Is it because we were wearing the same Hawaiian shirts,
I
or?
think so. I
I
think
mean, this guy's always in a Hawaiian
that's
shirt.
right.
I wear a Hawaiian shirt when I'm doing podcast or some YouTube videos,
Right.
but
Yeah.
normally he's literally always in
Yeah.
a Hawaiian shirt.
Yes, I do love my Aloha shirts. Yeah, I think there wasn't that big of a group. Maybe there was 12, and like just everyone was kind of like chiming in, and I was just sitting there lurking. And so you
Hmm.
kind of spotted that a mile away because you do
Okay.
like to pick on people. I do
I
notice that
do,
at the
yeah,
meetups,
yeah.
but
And then
it's
what you're saying is I wasn't like really popular because there was only 20,
no,
12 people there.
no, we were
That's what I heard.
no, it was crazy. It was because the next one I think there was 500 people, so it was just an off night.
Okay.
But yeah, you said come on down, and then you kind of gave me the basics of flipping, and you gave me this speech that I've now heard you give other people when they say, "Oh, I want to flip," and you go, "Oh, well, how much money do you have?" And I said none, and then you were like, okay, well, you should try wholesaling, and I was like, what's that? And so you kind of explained it, and you got me started on wholesaling. Got my first deal, I think, a couple months after that. Sold it to you
Hmm.
and Ryan, and then at that, I made like 15 grand. Before that, I was making probably like 20 grand a year, like being in a band. So it was kind of mind blowing. And then ever since then, I've just been obsessed. And so this last year, 2022, we started partnering on flips. And then, I feel like I am just starting, but it's been pretty amazing so far. So pretty
Okay.
stoked. Pretty
Okay.
stoked.
So, anyways, that's kind of my story, and how Alex and I met, and he said, "Hey, I do a lot of YouTube stuff, and so what about if I put you on YouTube and do all that for you, and you teach me how to flip properties?" And Alex is married to Lauren, because I can't forget about Lauren. They weren't
Oh.
married at the time; they just
Hmm.
recently got married. Um, but they're a team and they work together, and so I'm happy to do that, and that's how the relationship started. Um, so you told us a little bit about your story.
Hmm.
Is there more to that?
Yeah, I mean, basically, my background had nothing to do with real estate. I was always in bands. I've toured the world with me and my brother's band, um, and that was pretty much going to be my life plan. I say I was just going to Willie Nelson it out into the sunset just till I was 90. And then when live music shut down, that kind of just threw me for a loop because in my mind, I thought that could never happen. Um, And so I wanted to look into other things that were maybe more tried and true, maybe that could set me up for the future. 'Cause now, as I'm getting older, I need to start thinking about the future and not just be a guy in a van or a bus,
Yeah.
touring
Yeah.
around,
Yeah.
playing bars and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I kind of I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, which is a lot of people's introduction, and then I started listening to Bigger Pockets, and then they say find a mentor. And if you go on Bigger Pockets and you're in Orange County and you type in mentor, Joe pops up. And he meets with so many people. I mean, just from me knowing you for the last 3 years, I see how many people you meet with and you're giving advice and all this stuff, which is kind of mind blowing when I see people not taking advantage of it, because you literally will tell you how to do it. Like, just, I didn't have to know anything, and I would just go to you and I say, what do I do next? 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 Which is what I still do.
I was going to say, I think you're still doing that.
Yeah, every step of the way until I kind of start figuring it out, and then you can, replicate it. But it's such a resource to have, as you kind of just went into your background of just, I feel like now I can't fail. And so if you're wondering, like, how do I get started, just reach out to Joe. He's literally here saying, reach out to me and I'll show you how to do it, So I took advantage of that. I wanted to bring value to you, though. I didn't want to just take from you and not provide value. So I said, I will do your YouTube channel, because I saw that it needed a little punch up. And that's kind of what had been doing the last couple of years for myself in the music. And so I wanted to bring value, and I hope I did that.
Yeah, you've done that.
Yay.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
perfect.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kept showing up because I wanted him to see that I was serious about it and could be reliable.
I just want you to stop there for a minute.
Okay.
Because you kept showing up, and I have met with no less than 500 people. And the reason I meet with them is because I want them to either buy me lunch or buy me coffee. And then those who don't want to pay anything can meet at my office for me. I give them that option, but I'd prefer lunch. So when I do meet with people, whether they're experienced or not experienced, at least at the end of the day, I've got a free lunch out of it, so to speak. I'll always offer my services for free. I do not charge for anything that I put out there whatsoever. I have websites with a lot of information that you can start. I mean, you have YouTube University out there, so all you have to do is Google something, YouTube video pops up. I'm just here local in Orange County, and happy to help anybody with that. The reason he keeps, or the reason I like him, is because he keeps showing up. And I've told many people along the way that I meet up, okay, here's what you need to do, take the next step, show up, come to my office, I'll take you out for a tour of distressed properties, I'll show you what I do. I mean, literally, I'm grabbing you by the hand and showing you. I tell that to people all the time. He shows up. I tell you that probably 95% or more of the people I tell that to don't show up. And I think that's why a lot of people get caught in this guru trap, that they go to a course put on by the guru, and it's like, inexpensive or free. But then you get there and then they start selling you the $5, $10, $15, $20,000 package at the end of the day. And they know that, again, 98% of the people out there that buy these packages are not going to do anything. They take them home, they put them underneath their bed, and they don't look at it. And I meet with people like that, and I go, okay, where's your package? Underneath my bed. I go, well, do me a favor, pull it out from underneath your bed, put it on your vanity where you brush your teeth every morning, because I want you to see how much it costs, and I want it to embarrass you every morning. I want you to figure out, okay, well, how am I going to make this money back? Okay? You're never going to make any money back if it's underneath your bed and you've forgotten about it. So pull it out, put it in front of your mirror, start brushing your teeth and going, okay, I paid $20,000. How am I going to get out of this hole that I've created for myself? Okay, maybe you ought to call me and meet with me, and we'll discuss that, and I'll try to point you in the right direction. Okay, like I have been with Alex and others. Alex is not the only one, but others out there. So thank you for
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. And that's kind of why I wanted to start this podcast. It's sort of a spin-off of something that we say in your YouTube channel, which is you made that YouTube channel for the new and experienced investor, because even if you're experienced, you can always learn from your peers and, things that are working, things that aren't working. I wanted to hop in because I feel like I'm just maybe a year or two ahead of somebody that's just starting, and I could just say, like, do these things, just listen to Joe and he'll show you what to do, and then you could be on your way to start having success in real estate, and starting to build something for your future, so that's kind of the reason why I wanted to start this podcast, so you could reach more people, and then they could see somebody that's brand new, where it's just like, hey, we're doing it, we're just literally putting in the work. And compared to all the stuff that I've done with bands in the past, like this it's not easy, but it's just showing up and doing the thing every day, and that's what's been paying off the most, I think. And so
Plus, it's fun.
it's so fun. I'm obsessed now.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's like,
I mean, that's why I wake up in the morning, because
exactly.
this stuff is fun, and I like to teach others.
Right.
I put out a lot of information, and get a lot of responses from people. But that's what my enjoyment is in life,
Absolutely.
is teaching the new kids on the block.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so, what you guys can kind of expect from this podcast. It's going to be a lot of that. It's going to be pulling from Joe's experience, but we're also going to be looking at current stuff, current news, what's going on in the market today, so people can maybe hear your outlook. Like you said, you've been through some ups and downs. Right now, we're kind of going into a down after a super hot market, and I've only experienced that super hot market, so this is my first downturn. So I have no idea really what to expect, except kind of what you're telling me. But I think everybody could kind of benefit from that. So that'll be one thing, kind of current news. Definitely investing advice, which is great. How to get started, which I think a lot of people just get hung up on that for some reason. What do you think that is?
I don't know if it's just fear, because I tell that to people all the time. It's like, you've got to get over your fear. So tell me what it is that you're fearful of doing. I mean, are you fearful of being successful? Are you fearful of losing money? It's all about educating yourself so you don't feel fearful about whatever it is that you're trying to do. Um, you know, Money's money. You can buy a property for $10,000 in Chicago or spend millions of dollars here in California. It's still the same thing. If I buy something for 10,000 in Chicago and put 5,000 into the rehab and then sell it for 30,000, I'm still making a profit. It's still the same process. Here, it's going to be probably $800,000 and selling for $1 million or above. It's just people look at that big number and they go, "Oh my God, $1 million! I'm scared." Well, you're not scared if you educate yourself. You go through the process. You know what you need to do. You know that the after repair value is going to be correct. Your rehab is going to be correct. You're going to put it back on the market and sell it, and you're going to make this profit. So if you feel comfortable through that process, you can really flip in any market.
Sure.
Whether it's 30,000 or $1 million or above.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't even have to start with flipping. You can start wholesaling, which is, I would say, even a lower barrier of entry.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the taking action part that I see most people kind of flounder on.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Maybe this podcast will inspire some people to take action, and once you see that success and you get that proof of concept, it definitely gives you confidence. And then on top of that, I'd like to have a lot of people in the industry, so maybe we could have special guests, experts. The other night at your meetup, you had one of the tech wizards from PropStream, which is a software where you can pull lists of all sorts, but mostly we're looking for motivated sellers to reach out to. and try and see if we can solve their problem. So that was really cool, and he showed us some behind the scenes stuff and how to really utilize that. So we're gonna have all those types of people on here. You ready for that?
I'm ready.
Okay,
I'm
let's
ready.
do it. So what I want you guys to do is, make sure you subscribe to this podcast. It's going to be pretty much everywhere that you listen to podcasts, but also subscribe to Joe's YouTube, which is youtube.com/Joe Holmes, which we've been working on over the last couple of years. And then Lauren and I are starting our own YouTube as well, which is Alex and Lauren Real Estate. So jump on both of those, and let's just, connect with everybody.
Sounds great.
All right. See you on the next one.
If you want some more advice on real estate investing, reach out to us one-on-one.